Hi everybody, it's Colette Baron-Reid. It's time for the Astro Oracle reading for the week. Before I do, I want to invite you. Have you signed up to my newsletter yet? If not, you're going to want to. We send you a lot of free stuff and a lot of interesting content. So join my newsletter, and if you're interested in my Oracle cards, you can go to my website too at ColetteBaron-Reid.com and check it out. I have lots of them. This is my very first one I ever made. It's one of my absolute favorites because it's meaningful. So we're going to do the Astro Oracle readings with the Wisdom of Avalon Oracle cards, and I'm going to take 3 cards per sign. You'll end up with 9 cards, unless you are like a triple Scorpio or something. You're only going to get 3 cards for Scorpio, but you'll triple it in your head. Anyway, so let's get going. So let's do Aries. So Aries is a week of focus. Focus for Aries. And don't be afraid of risk. So there's a level of fear that's coming up for you. Typically, Aries aren't necessarily fearful in their choices. So this is about staying focused, and don't be afraid of taking risks this week. That's what this says. So focus, fear, and risk. Next is going to be Taurus. So Taurus, oh my, this has the gold side. They stopped doing this at my publisher. I love my gold cards. Okay, so this is Taurus. Taurus is joy, just like this week. Truth and the Fire Fairy. So these are all 3 cards showed up in this week's reading for the entire, overarching energy that we're experiencing. But for Taurus, you're pretty grounded. You're feeling very creative. As long as you stay in your truth, you're going to realize that you have lots to feel good about this week. So it's a pretty nice week for Taurus. Now let's look at Gemini. And Gemini, here we go. So Gemini is dealing with authority, protection, and the dog. So this is cool. So this is a sort of a reading where I look at and go, oh, I'd be looking at insurance policies. Not to say that every single Gemini is going to look for insurance policies, but it does really feel that as long as you stick to what you're loyal to in terms of what you've committed yourself to, you're going to feel that sense of protection that's inherent in the choices that you make. These are like very non-risky or very risk-averse this week, and that's actually good for you. And then the King card can represent somebody outside of yourself, but typically it represents the sovereignty that you feel or you have over your life when you make decisions that are kind of like self-protective, right? So be very self-protective this week, and you'll feel like you really are not worried about risking anything. So that's nice. Now we're going to be dealing with Cancers. Here we go. So Cancer begins with the Lady of the Lake, which is all, again, it's that courage, truth, integrity, being really yourself. This is a card of true and absolute authenticity, and that's where your power comes from, Cancer, this week. The Swan is a beautiful card. It reminds you that you're always in process of changing and trusting your psychic abilities, or trusting that intuition that you have. You know that transformation is in flux for you, so you're trusting that. And watch your goblin. So the wounded ego can come up when, how do I put this? You might be challenged internally by things outside of you that you have no control over. And also when you're in between things, like when things haven't become 100% what they are. They're just sort of in flux. So don't allow your unworthiness or your self-talk of this isn't going to happen, why isn't this happening, am I good enough, am I not good enough, etc. So perfectionism is not your friend this week. That's for Cancerians and for me. Okay, so now let's take a look at Leo. You have the Wealth card this week, Leo, and then gentleness, diplomacy, and joy. So this is for you that you really are in a place to be generous. And that's your favorite thing, is being generous, being there for others, being that person that can feel very abundant. It is reminding you to be diplomatic when you're helping others, that you'll feel a lot of joy when you enter into these kind of dynamics with others where you're the person helping. Remember that burden card that we talked about for the whole week, which is don't take on too much of other people's stuff. So this is saying, again, that's part of that gentle quality of let me help you, but not let me do all your work for you. But the Leos are going to be very open about being generous this week, which is nice. And wealth doesn't mean only money. Remember that. If we look at the definition of wealth, it's the concept of abundance that means a lot of things. It means it's not measured in material things. It's really about a sense of being full and a sense of being fulfilled and being able to share that with others, as well as being able to share material things. Okay, this is for Virgos, gentle diplomacy. This is the Deer again came up, the Earth Fairy, which is about your health, and the Horse, which is about accepting health from others. So you may be finding yourself in a position where you actually need that help from the Leo person. It just sort of went, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. So with the Earth Fairy, there's a sense of really having to look at your foundations and being gentle with yourself as you move through your own transformational changes, and know you can't do it by yourself. So this is about accepting help from others and knowing you don't have all the answers this week, and you don't need to have those answers. Okay, great. Next. Libra is next. Now, Libra is that is the eagle card, which represents the connection to the angelic realm. So you're in that higher view right now, and being able. Okay, so this is also part of, recognizing that you have wisdom when you rise above. So you're not caught up in complexities or other people's dramas, etc. And the Earth Fairy is about being grounded. So staying above, which is really the observer, knowing that you have these helpers and a connection to your higher power that will lead you in the correct direction and lead you into that integrated wisdom that you already have, and trusting. Also, this is about keeping your filter clean in terms of how you eat, how you treat your body, etc. So it really is about staying grounded and staying in the zone that you know is for your highest good, so therefore you can serve others better. And now let's take a look at Scorpio. Here we go. These cards are only read upright. They were never built to be read in the protection position. Oh, this is interesting. Scorpio. Ooh, Scorpio, love for you. So Scorpio, creative projects are coming up for you this week. This is a great thing for you to be focused on, and something brand new. So knowing that you don't know everything and you can try something new, and this is like just trying something new, is what's on tap for you this week. And love, I love this. And falling in love with the creative things that you do, and realizing you get very stimulated this week and you just really enjoy the week. As long as you stay in the beginner mind. When you think you know everything, you might not enjoy it as much, but this is saying as long as you can stay creative and stay in that beginner mind, you're going to have a great week. It's also a week to remember the people you love and who loves you, etc. So it is a love week for the Scorpios. Now let's take a look at Sagittarius. Let's do this. Whoopsie. I love shuffling these cards. Okay, so Sag, here we go. This is the burden card for the Sagittarius. So what is your responsibility? Love is your responsibility, and magic and synchronicity comes when you place love above all things. Ooh, this is cool. The Raven is all about magic and synchronicity. So when you look at this and you look at the responsibility you have to ask what would love do when you make a choice, I think that you're going to really ignite all the magic in the world that will come to you to show you your next step, that everything comes together as if by magic when you ask that question of yourself this week. And that's for the Sagittarius. Ooh, that's so cool. Now let's take a look at Capricorn, the High Priestess, the Frog, and the Lady of the Lake. So here we have discernment and cleaning house, which we know is making better decisions for Capricorns. It's asking us to really trust our gut instinct when we know something doesn't feel 100%. For the Capricorn, you have to really clean house and make sure you have integrity and don't mess around with anything that seems to be not clean is what it's saying. So clean conversations with other people. Don't make them messy. Don't make them, be willing to say what you need to say. Stay in your truth, in your authentic truth, and you're going to find this to be a much better week. Nothing will be muddy for you this week. So this is really about that cleaning house of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, as well as you might need to declutter your place. In order to think clear. Sometimes I think much clearer when I have a clean space to operate in. That I do know. We are with our Aquarius friends, the dragon, fear, and the eagle. So this is your internal dialogue going off for Aquarius. It's really about getting your strength to move through fear, to move to the other side of fear, because fear is in the center of the angelic realm and personal power and strength too. So you have your strength from your higher power, and that's what's going to help you move through your fear. This is really important for you to remember this week, Aquarius, in case you start getting anxious about anything. You have to trust that there's a higher perception and perspective of everything, and a higher purpose to things that you might not know what they are, and that's okay. And that your personal power will come when you are 100% authentic and you are really being trusting of that higher power, and then the fear will subside. And now, last but not least, we have Pisces. Okay, for Pisces, yay, alchemy, the Merlin, and risk, and the owl, which is about wisdom. Sometimes it's about deception, but I will say this, that when the Merlin is first, it's all about the alchemy of pieces that come together to form something better. Like you have all the parts to turn iron ore into gold, basically, is what it's saying. Like you have everything here. You can take a risk. But don't deceive yourself about the risk. You have to take a wise risk. So it's a calculated risk. It's kind of like how in the period of transformation that you're in right now, you can kind of turn anything into anything else. You just don't want to take anything too wild, I guess. This is saying I would take a very calculated risk, and it will pay off for you this week. And that's for Pisces. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. And don't forget, my newsletter has tons of free stuff in it. I give you a lot of really interesting content, PDFs, and all kinds of goodies. So sign up at my website, ColetteBaronReed.com. And if you want to learn more about all my different Oracle card decks, and we don't even have all of them on there, but we have a lot of them, and I'm sure you'd like to learn more about them, and you can try them too. Okay. See you next time. Take care. All right, subscribe to my channel. When you click on that bell, you will get these notifications for these videos. If you like them, share them with your friends, leave me a comment. Love reading your comments. And don't forget, my newsletter has tons of content, lots of free stuff there. ColetteBaronReed.com. Check it out. All right, bye.